Hey everybody! Today we're going to be making DIY paper zinnia flowers. The supplies you will need for this project is 65-pound cardstock. You'll need a glue gun, you'll need a wood dowel or my paper bloom shaping mat and tool set, which you can find linked below this video. You'll also need a pair of scissors or a cutting machine or both, and you'll also want the Zinnia templates, which are available below this video as well. Links to all of my specific supplies and the templates and everything can be found below this video. Just click on show more and it will reveal all the links for you. Before you watch this tutorial, please like this video. It helps me out more than you know. And if you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of my new content or the freebies that I love to share with my community. So this is a look at what our zinnias are going to look like when we are finished building them. And you're going to need to cut out just a few different layers here of petals. You'll need 3 of the base zinnia petals. You'll need 4 of the one center petal and then 6 of the innermost center petal. So there's 2 center pieces to it here, and you'll need 4 of the one and 6 of the other. We're gonna get started with these 3 first. Now for this tutorial, I am using my paper bloom shaping mat and tool set here. If you don't have this or you don't wish to purchase it, you can easily still follow along, and I will show you as we go how you can modify if you don't wish to purchase this mat. But if you do, it is linked below this video for you. And I'm gonna start with just grab any one of these petals here. So I like to just add a little bit of debossing to these petals using the smallest of my ball tools. If you don't have this, you can skip this part. It's not like 100% necessary to make these flowers in order to do this. This one I didn't really deboss at all, so you can see that it still turns out very pretty. But this is just, if you have this tool set, it's a great way to add a little extra detail. And I do that with all of the petal points. And then what I do is I curl back slightly each of these. And if you don't have this tool, you can use a thin wood dowel or you can use a pencil for this part, where you can just curl back the tips of each of these petals just a little bit. It doesn't need to be a lot. And then I grab one of my slightly larger ball tools here and I roll the center of the flower so it really helps those petals stand up. If, again, you don't have this, then you can just take your fingers and sort of press it up at a kind of folding the bottom of it like that if you don't have this tool set, and you can achieve a very similar look. But like I said, this is linked below the video if you wish to grab it. It's a really handy tool for making smaller paper flowers. So that is how I prep the base zinnia petals, and I'm gonna do the next 2 here real quick. Okay, so for the centers, we're also just going to give those a little bit of depth, and I'm using the rolling tool for this as well. I'm going to use sort of the medium-sized one here, and I'm just going to roll the center so that it gets everything to stand up. If you don't have the rolling tool set, then you can just sort of press up with your fingers to create a somewhat similar effect. For the innermost centerpiece, we're going to curl each of the petals, and if you don't have the tool set, you can just use a thin wood dowel to curl the petals inwards. But if you do have the tool set, then take one of the smaller ball tools and begin at the outer edge of each petal point, and with some firm pressure, roll it towards the center, and you will create nice little curls to each of the petal points. So you want to repeat that with all the center pieces. Same thing for all the yellow in my example here and all of the brown in my example. All right, so once you prep everything, then we're going to start assembling. We're actually going to start with the center first, and I'm going to begin with the yellow pieces here. And I'm going to begin by just layering them on top of each other with a little bit of glue. So I just add a tiny dot of glue to the back and place it right on top. You don't have to be very precise with your placement on these because we're using 4 layers, and it's gonna fill itself out pretty naturally without you having to try on your placement too much. So basically you just want to place and layer. There we go. Set that one aside. And then I have my 6 centermost pieces here, these little brown pieces that we curled. and I'm going to layer in a very similar fashion. And when you're adding your layers, just think about adding the one that you may have rolled the tightest close to the centermost point, and kind of open out some of the first layers so that it's sort of progressively getting tighter towards the center as you add your layers in. And layering all 6 of these on top of each other, and just slightly opening each one out to fit the next one in. When you get down to the very last one, just open it very slightly, make sure the last one is nice and closed, and then stick that in the center there. Okay, you can kind of press it back together if you need to a little bit. And now we're going to add the brown piece inside of the yellow piece. Straight in there, just like that. Your center is done for your zinnias, and now we just have to layer the exterior petals of the zinnias. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to open it out just a little bit so it's a little more relaxed, and then I'm going to place this one on top. I'm trying to pay attention here to where my petals are alternating between each other to the layer below it. So aim for that to be your goal. It may not come together perfectly, and that's fine, but just aim for that to be your goal. We'll add in the third layer here. There we go. All right, so that is the base point, and now we just need to set the center in. I like to gather the center nice and kind of tight together here. Pinch it with my fingers a little, and just add a little glue at the bottom. There we go. Our zinnia paper bloom is finished. Now, if you'd like to stem this flower, then what I recommend is cutting an extra petal layer of the very base petal here, and you can thread a wire through it, and then it will create sort of a stem effect. And I'm going to show you that real quick here so that you understand what I'm saying. Let me see if I have another petal layer here. We go. All right. So for this one, I'm just going to give it a light curl real quick. If you're not planning on stemming, then you're done. You don't need to do anything else. If you're just planning to stick these on, like, you know, maybe a wood sign or something similar, then you don't need to worry about this step. I take a piece of floral wire. You can use 18 to 22 gauge floral wire. This one here is 18. I bend it at a 90-degree angle, and then I form a small circle at the top, just like so. And then I take my scissors, you might need a pair of detail scissors for this point, and I punch a little hole with the tip of my scissors right into the center of that base piece that we're adding on there. And I'm going to thread my wire, excuse me, I'm going to thread my wire up and sort of get it positioned, the little circle positioned right on top of one of the petal points so that it's hidden. And I'm going to add some glue. You can be fairly generous with your glue here. And then I'm going to stick this on top, sort of flip it upside down while it dries, and you can apply just slight pressure. Doesn't have to have a lot of pressure. This is a rather thick wire. I'm using an 18 gauge wire here. For a little bit better flexibility, you may want to go for like 22 gauge wire. This is what I have on hand. It was the only one I had on hand that was already covered. But you can use a thinner wire, and it'll be a little bit easier on you for flexibility. all my glue strings off here. When you're finished, you will have a stemmed flower as a result, just like that. So you can do that with any flower of mine in a similar manner, just using, you know, another layer of petal and then threading a wire up through a small hole and gluing it to the bottom. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this zinnia flower tutorial. Keep an eye out for my tutorials on marigolds and chrysanthemums coming in the next couple of days. I will see you guys there.